Hi, I'm going to tell you about an absolutely compelling experience I'm having to help me with learning languages. I just can't help telling everyone about it, and this short video is an attempt to summarise my enthusiasm, as well as to share some practical tips about how to get going if you want to join me or others doing a similar thing. I've joined Second Life, and this is what I look like when I'm there. It's my avatar, and I'm called Karelia Kondor. I downloaded the software, it's all free, I registered my avatar's name, and I went through various tutorials to learn how to do all the usual things you can do in real life. Listen, speak, read, write, move, interact with objects. It really helped that I had some real-life friends who were able to give advice if I got stuck. But to be honest, one of the great things about being in this community is that you can feel free to ask anyone for help. You just write your question in the chat box, and someone around will usually help you. To begin with, I just wandered around a bit aimlessly, not really sure what to do. I went to conferences, I visited towns, and I was sometimes a bit embarrassed when I did stupid things, like sitting on people, but I soon found that others are very understanding. And actually, doing things wrong provokes laughter, which I suppose is a special human thing, breaking down barriers. I gradually got more involved and made friends with a really generous and kind person called Carol, who encouraged me to rent some land so that I could experiment with making things and I could have a base for entertaining, and this is it. One day I told her that I was really interested in improving my very basic Italian, and it so happened that at that very same time an Italian teacher she knew called Anna Begonia was holding an Italian activity. I was introduced and I have never looked back. Every week we meet together at a specified place and time, usually the Purple Forest, and Anna provides an activity which forces us to communicate in Italian. She has a fantastic range of methods for doing this, and she's always looking for ways which really exploit what Second Life has to offer, which a regular classroom doesn't. And I'm going to give you a few examples now. We play games with three-dimensional consequences. For example, in this gymkhana, we had to sit on a chair, answer questions, and our seats gradually took us up to the top with each correct answer. Once at the top, we had to solve a word search embedded in a wall, but this was a wall with a difference. Once solved, it actually fell down, and our avatars walked through to get to the next challenge. At the end, having solved an anagram and navigated a tricky maze, where we used a note card telling us when to turn left or right, we got real prizes for success: a scooter. All of these fun activities make us relax in each other's company and give the incentive to have a go. Of course, this virtual world gives an authentic 3D backcloth, or rather a stage, for transactional language. We've gone to the cinema together. We bought our tickets together. Louis offered to buy popcorn for us before we watched a short clip of a real film and then discussed it. We've been to market to buy furniture for a house that we designed together, and another one for clothing. We've received and we've given basic directions to get around some of the cities recreated in Second Life. They look absolutely wonderful, ones like Rome and Genoa. And we imagined we were ancient Romans one evening by wearing togas and acting out an improvised story in the Roman baths. I'm not quite sure how I ended up in a male costume, but never mind. We visited some absolutely beautiful art galleries, a superb stimulus for drawing upon any language you know to say what you think things represent and for giving your opinions, and another good way of meeting native Italians, as I've discovered some really talented artists in Second Life. A really high point for me is when native speakers drop in and join in on our conversations. And the really nice thing is that we maintain that contact. So the other day, for example, 3 Italian friends I'd met during one of these sessions just dropped in on my patch, and we spent about an hour and a half chatting and singing. Yeah, singing. It turned out that Claudio was a superb musician, and he could play a vast range of music on his guitar, from Elizabethan lute music to Elvis. I've also joined a group of people who meet regularly, supposedly to talk about Italian politics. But actually, they need a rest every now and then, and they indulge me by letting me try out my Italian on them. Above all, I love being in a community where people laugh and enjoy themselves, and my interest has actually gone beyond language learning now, as I find some superb live musicians and DJs, and, as I've already said, some very talented artists. To make it really work for me, I always have a folder where I note down words. I always have a go. There's absolutely no point in being shy. And actually, somehow being an avatar does make it easier. I've even started a blog where I log my experiences. This is actually blatantly copying my teacher Anna, who's really good. She makes a record of everything we've done in her blog, and it means that I get some quality reading done after the lesson, and I've got a reason for further writing. There are other, more conventional ways of learning in Second Life. For example, there's a company called Language Lab where, for a monthly subscription, you have access to regular Spanish lessons or English lessons. And then there are less structured ways. For example, a group where people can buddy up. So, for example, I meet up fairly often with someone who wants to improve his English, and I want to improve my French. And now for the confession. In real life, I am in fact a language teacher. And as well as genuinely learning Italian by being in Second Life, I'm also using it to see what potential it has for my own profession. With the relative ease of access which we now have to the internet, chat rooms, Skype, creative web tutors, it's getting easier to create activities which hook people into languages. But the question for myself and for Anna, my teacher, is trying to analyse what aspects of Second Life add that extra something to learning languages. Essentially, it's the 3D environment which I think sets it apart. Your avatar becomes you. You cannot help but be kinesthetically involved in your learning as you move about the world, manipulate objects, type your chat, understand and give advice about using the programme. And there are plenty of studies which indicate that this sort of learning has great results. I'd separate out the pedagogical advantages from what for me personally is a major feature, and that's the pleasure of learning. It's in the sharing and enthusiasm for and the sheer awe of what is possible in Second Life, along with other people who stick it out. Second Life does have a tendency to crash, especially if there are lots of people in the same place at the same time. And those you meet are usually pretty patient people who are prepared to laugh about things that go wrong. And that's ideal for language learning and, well, learning generally. So, if you're interested in giving it a go and download the software from www.secondlife.com. Follow one of the basic tutorials. And if you need some introductions or some more hints, please feel free to get in touch with me, Karelia Kondor. Bye.
Questa gente che osserva e si lamenta, pure Colombo è stato uno fra 100 e adesso in mare veleggia la rumenta, strana Genova. Io questa notte ti vorrei parlare e invece parto per mandarti a dire che tu sei bella, sì, ma da ricordare